When it comes to live2D rigging, modeling can be kinda hard, especially if you're a beginner. So I prepared a tutorial that I would like to see when I was a beginner rigger. Quick disclaimer, I am not a professional. This is more like a veteran to freshman advice. I prepared 3 techniques that I find pretty easy for a beginner to catch up with, so come with me. Our victim will be Huion, a quick model I made to exemplify what I want to teach you. She has 4 hair divisions, so it's gonna be ideal for a simple tutorial. The warp over warp technique is one of the most used ones when it comes to hair movement, since it's pretty simple and easy to understand. You're gonna need 2 deformers and a parameter for each one of them. Make sure to pay attention to the parameter range. The idea should be -1, default 0, and +1. That being said, let's go to the practical part. All you need to do is activate the parameter and drag it to the side keyforms. Remember, left is left and right is right, so keep this fresh in mind. You're gonna activate the first parameter and the first deformer and basically do this movement I'm doing right here, deforming almost the entire strand of hair. Pay attention to the hair top, since, trust me, you don't want their barb moving too much because it can look kinda broken. As for the second deformer, you're gonna activate the second parameter and do basically the same thing we just did in the first one, except you're gonna deform a smaller amount of hair near to the hair end. Pay attention to the curves. Don't try to flip it, as it can possibly make it look broken, so always pay attention on which way you're deforming. That's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna select all the deformers and parts and reflect this hair strand to the other side, as well as repeat this process on the other hair parts. Pay attention to the back hair, as it will most likely have a backwards movement to make it look more natural, especially if you're dealing with long hair. As for the physics to work, you're going to modeling and then clicking on physics settings. We're going to set a physics parameter group. You're going to click here and name your parameter group. I don't recommend on setting an automatic input, as I find it better to set it for yourself. Here in the input window, you're gonna set it to angle X or angle Y if you're dealing with Y-axis physics. It's pretty much the same process. Now we are going to set the pendulum. This is by far the most important part of it, as these tiny values can easily difficult your life a lot. The duration is how slow or fast you want the physics to move. The shaking influence is the shakiness level and sometimes can be a little tricky to use. The reaction time can make the thing lighter or heavier, and the overall acceleration messes with gravity. You can copy my values if you want, as it's easier for training. After you're done with it, go to the output window and set the 2 parameters we just used as the output ones. And ta-da! Huion has flowy hair now. The animated loop can be a little difficult to master, as you need to have a little bit of animation knowledge to make it pretty and not cracky at all. I myself don't have much experience with it, so my results are looking kinda crappy, but I'm pretty sure if you want to train it, it's gonna look good. All you need to do is create path deformers alongside the hair strand. You can use a single deformer for it, but I prefer doing it directly into the art mesh. You're gonna need 2 parameters again, and you're basically activating one, doing the basic left-right movement, and then activating another, intertwining it with the first parameter and creating a movement loop. Should look like this. I highly recommend to get some hair movement references for this one. Now I'm gonna do it with the rest of the hair. The input and output physics process will always be the same. I'm also using the same pendulum settings. As you can see, it looks kinda cracked because I'm not an expert on this technique, since I use other methods. But if done well, it can look beautiful and, in my opinion, very alive as well. You know how a normal parameter can interfere in the movement of another normal parameter, right? We just learned it. But this doesn't happen with blend shapes at all. Blend shapes are a special type of parameter that can overcome other parameter movements. It has a massive mathematical explanation behind it, and I'm not feeling like explaining it now, but all you need to do is toggle this little box here. It should have this nice square on the keyforms, indicating you're dealing with a blend shape. This is so far the easiest option in my opinion, as it's easy to be done and the results are very pretty. All you need to do is basically create path deformers again for the hair art mesh, or use a single deformer. As well as the others, you're using 2 parameters for this technique. The movement is very alike to the warp over warp 1, in which you have the first parameter doing the rough side-to-side deforming and the second one focusing more on the ends. That being done, we are again setting the parameter physics. That's pretty much it. It looks a lot like the warp over warp technique. I find it a lot easier since you don't need to create one deformer for each movement and possibly making your exported model a lot heavier than it should be. I usually do this technique whenever I'm rigging my models, as I did here. I hope this tutorial helps you. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video. All my social media will be listed on the description. Bye bye!